Hello, Melanin Monarchy citizens. This is Monique here with another concert review. And on this episode, we're going to be discussing Squeeze and Psychedelic Furs. Let's go. Now remember, this channel is all about commentating and reviewing films, live music, and creatives, all with a strong emphasis on Depeche Mode, because you guys know how I love Depeche Mode. So if you guys want to go ahead and revisit bands of yesteryear or discover bands that you never got a chance to really get into, this is the place for you. So go ahead, like it, subscribe, join me, click the notification bell, do all of those YouTube and Instagram things that people are doing today. I'm learning how to do these things. Come along this journey with me. And this time for this episode, we're going to be talking about Squeeze and Psychedelic Furs that came to San Diego, and they were at the Sound in Del Mar, which was a wonderful, wonderful venue. So let's talk about it. First, let's go ahead and talk about the Sound. The Sound I had never been to. It's a new venue for me. It's at the racetrack in Del Mar. Apparently bands have been going there for a long time. I have just never gotten a chance to visit the Sound. So this was my first time being there, and I can definitely say that the staff, the management are really, really wonderful. It's a really, really cool place to go, and especially it's the off season. It's not the Del Mar Fair and the racetrack season. We're past summer, so it's the off season. So they were able to get Squeeze and Psychedelic Furs there. I also want to give a special thank you to the management at the Sound, and also to Miss Patty. You know who you are. You did me a solid, and I really, really appreciate it. Now these bands came early. They were there hours early. They were lined up, but you know, for those of us who have a press pass, were able to get there. But did you know that they were going to try to make me wait in line with everybody else? But you know what I did? I did my smile, like flashed it, and I hold smile. That's my superpower. That's what I did, and I was able to get in a little bit before everybody else. Sorry, you guys. Sometimes, you know, people just have privilege. You know, it happens. But I was there for a reason. I was there to help you out and to get this review to the people that could not be there, and that is so very important. Okay, so there's the Sound in San Diego. It's a great venue. So if you guys haven't been to the Sound before, that's in Southern California, I would definitely say check out the Sound. It is a solid venue, but just be aware that you will have to wait. Parking is pretty open. You can definitely park there. The Uber pickup was fairly simple. A lot of the venue parking very simple, very solid. So I like how they're doing things at the Sound. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about Squeeze first. Now I am a huge Squeeze fan. Been a Squeeze fan since the 80s for a very long time. I have seen them a couple of times, and again, they did not disappoint. Now, for you guys that have heard of Squeeze way back when they started, I believe in the 70s, they had a huge membership. They've had some membership shuffles, as a lot of bands do when they're 40 years in the business. So they had some membership shuffles, and you had Paul Carrick, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He was with Squeeze back in the day with Tempted and some other songs that they had way back when. But the staple members and members that have been there since the beginning are the likes of Mr. Glenn Tilbrook and Mr. Chris Difford. They are also founding members of Squeeze, and they're still a part of that band. Now, also with the membership, the lineup that they have with the membership includes the likes of Melvin Duffy, who plays the steel guitar, I believe that is. It's a seated guitar. Adds a lot of different aesthetics when you're looking at them on stage, so I appreciate that. So that's Melvin. Then you have Stephen Large, who's on the keys. He's wonderful with his dress. Kind of has that Pee Wee Herman kind of look. I really love seeing his outfit. So he's on the keys. And then you have, who's makeup? You have Owen, you have Simon, you have Chris. So that makes up Squeeze as far as traveling and live. And they come dressed. They have their jackets, they have their suits. They look kind of like, just like nerds, like beautiful musical genius nerds. That's their look. That's the kind of aesthetic that they're bringing you on stage. And so I was very happy to see that they're still keeping up that kind of look, that kind of design to their clothes and that kind of coordination. The drummer, he's wearing a vest, and one of the other, I believe he's a percussionist, he's also wearing a vest for reasons rightly so, but they still bring that type of crisp type of look, and I really, really like that about Squeeze. Voice still sounds great. The fans were there. The fans were actually singing back to them. So when they started Tempted, right, they started singing Tempted. I think that Glenn and Chris really enjoy hearing the fans sing back to them, sing Tempted back to them. So that was really wonderful. They were also, the fans were singing Black Coffee in Bed. And I was thinking about getting a shirt with Black Coffee in Bed. Get it? You know, so, but really, really great song. It's one of their familiar songs that people may know from way back in the day, and I believe Paul Carrick was the original singer of that song. But Glenn and Chris really did a great job. They did a great job with their songs and with their singing. However, I do have beef with Squeeze. Now, here's my beef. My beef is that my favorite album, you guys listening, my favorite album is Casa Fan Tutti Frutti. And on that album, you have some really, really wonderful ballads. And one of the ballads that I absolutely love is Last Time Forever. But there's a whole slew of songs on that album, and they just did not sing any of those songs when I saw them. So that, if there's somebody from the Squeeze camp that's watching this, that's listening, please tell them, listen, go ahead and bring back songs from that particular album. I know when you have a huge collection of albums, it's hard to narrow it down. And sometimes when you slow it down and when you're doing live, that brings a different type of feel to the audience. So a lot of times bands want to keep it hype and they play their upbeat things. However, I think it was appropriate during this tour with Psychedelic Furs to incorporate some of those slower songs. And so I wish they would have done that. And so, again, that album that I love, Casa Fan Tutti Frutti. And another thing, this is a little tidbit that I want to give the audience here. Casa Fan Tutti Frutti, album by Squeeze. They named that album, rumor has it, respect and their love for Little Richard. Little Richard, back in the day, back in the, I believe it was the late 50s, early 60s, that he did Tutti Frutti, right, the song. What I did not know was that there was different lyrics to that song, Tutti Frutti. So you know how it goes, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, like that? No, that's not how the original song was. The original song lyrics are, Tutti Frutti, good booty. Hey, you guys can look it up. You can look it up. It was really good booty, not all Rudy. It was good booty. And there were some other lyrics that they had to change because back then you couldn't be out like that. So that's a little music history there. So again, Squeeze was great to see them again. I will see them every single time that they come in town. I really do love it. But again, I would love for them to incorporate some of those songs from that album because it's a completely underrated album, and it's a great album with really, really wonderful songs. Hopefully I didn't forget anything with Squeeze. Now, let's get into Psychedelic Furs. You guys, I'm late to the party. I am completely late to the party when it comes to Psychedelic Furs. Psychedelic Furs, I don't know what I was thinking when I'm looking back at my concert going repertoire. They're just not there. I don't know why they weren't there, but I have been missing a great, amazing live act. Psychedelic Furs completely blew my mind. There were friends, like hardcore fans. There was an Uber fan to my left, and then there was a great fan to my right. She was kind of an Uber fan, but she was really a friend. Not like the one that was to my left. The one to my left even knew the tour manager's name. He came out, and she waved to him, he waved to her. So she has seen him a million times, one to my right. So there are some Psychedelic Furs out here in Southern California, and they were also there. That's why they came early to wait in that line for 3 hours or how many hours they did. Let's get to the band Psychedelic Furs. Psychedelic Furs, the members are comprised of the Butler brothers. You have Tim, you have Richard, then you have Rich Good, who one of the Uber fans is completely in love with. I don't blame her, really, I don't blame her, but completely in love with Rich Good on guitar. Then they had a stand of guitars My apologies, I did not get his name. It looks like he also doubles as one of their roadies too, but he was standing in for this particular live music. Then you had Amanda Kramer, who was in the back. She's on the keyboards. Amanda, I believe, started with 10,000 Maniacs. She may have started with that band, or was there a band before that? But she's been around. She's been around the alternative music industry for a very long time, and so she was part of their live act. And then you also had, if I'm not forgetting anybody, you have Tim, you have Rich, you have Richard, and then you have Mr. Zach Alford on drums, and he is one of the most underrated drummers I have ever seen live. Seriously. Now, for those of you guys who are not familiar with the members of Psychedelic Furs, Zach actually used to play with the B-52s. He's a young kid in the back playing the drums during the Love Shack video. So if you go back and you look at the Love Shack video and you see that drummer, that's Zach. That's who he is. And so here he's playing with Psychedelic Furs. He's been touring with Psychedelic Furs, and I believe he's toured with the likes of Bowie, other big name bands, rightly so, because this guy jams. He really, really does jam. So I'm surprised his arms aren't bigger, but he really jams. I enjoyed seeing him. So there you have all the members. Hopefully I didn't leave anybody out. And yes, I did. I left out Mr. Mars. Mars Williams was there. Apparently he had not been touring for a little bit, and this time we have him back. He's on the saxophone. And you know, back in the 80s, a lot of bands did have saxophone in their music. Culture Club was one of those, and they travel also with a saxophone. And so it's a great treat when a band can have a saxophonist with them. I know Men at Work, they have their saxophonist as well. She does some other instruments for Men at Work too. So I enjoy Mars. I enjoy hearing that he's back, that he was with them for many, many, many years. And for this tour, he was playing. They sounded amazing. Now, let's talk about Mr. Richard Butler. Oh my gosh, you guys, I am in love. I am in love. But you know, I don't know what it is with me and these older British rockers. I mean, like, I fall in love with everybody. Everybody. I'm, love with Depeche Mode, love with Mr. Ebb, in love with Rod Stewart, in love with Seal. Now is Richard Butler. Just so very in love. So you have Richard Butler there who came out. He has so much energy, you guys. See, I'm wearing my Psychedelic Furs shirt that I got. Merch, you guys, it's important. They make money off of merch too, so go ahead and purchase your merch. And they have a cute little hot pink, pretty in pink. That's another thing for you guys. Remember, Psychedelic Furs sung the title song to Pretty in Pink, wonderful 80s movie. They're known for that. And for those of you who are 80s movies guru, in 16 Candles, when she's in her room in the bed, I'm not sure if it's a scene like later on. I think it's in the morning, right? So it's the beginning of the day, beginning of her birthday. She's talking to her best friend, which I believe is actually like her sister or her cousin in real life. But she's talking to her best friend on the phone. In the background, Molly Ringwald has posters of different musical groups. And one of those musical groups is Squeeze. One of those posters is a Squeeze poster. So you guys, prove me right, prove me wrong. Go back, look at 16 Candles, and you will see Squeeze poster in Pretty in Pink in 16 Candles in the back of Molly Ringwald. And I believe what song is playing? I think it's Howard. Oh my gosh, what is his name? I forget all the songs. I should know all. I've seen 16 Candles a million times. But Squeeze, 16 Candles, Psychedelic Furs, Pretty in Pink. So Mr. Richard Butler, he came on the scene. He came on the stage with so much energy. And he wowed me. Completely wowed me. When he sings, he's very animated, you guys. Extremely animated. He does this. He's feeling the lyrics, and he's singing it to the audience. He actually sings to the audience. And when he's doing that, he's animated, he's singing to the audience. It makes you pay attention to the lyrics. It makes you pay attention to what the lyrics are all about, what the song is all about, and it brings something extra than when you were younger and you were just listening to music because of the beat, but now you're listening to the words along with the beat. So I enjoy that. And there was a moment in time where he gets down low. Richard Butler gets down low with the crowd, and I was up front, right? I was up front, and I was able to be up front. Praise God, because these fans, they were something else, right? And so I was able to be up front, and he gets down low and he's singing to the crowd. And I don't know why I did it. I just did it, and I blew him a kiss, right? And he sees me, and he gets down low and he goes, right? Yeah, I don't know why I fanned out about that, but for whatever reason, my 49-year-old self was just like, right? So Richard, great voice. He's still very lively, very energetic. The set was great. All the songs that I would have wanted to hear, and some other songs that I have to rediscover, right? I'm on my Spotify, for those of you who do Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your music, for rediscovering that the Psychedelic Furs, all of their music. And so it was a joy. I can't stress enough how, if you have not seen Psychedelic Furs, or you have not seen them in quite some time, I would definitely say, please revisit them. Please go and see them. They're still a treat. They're still wonderful. It was my first time seeing them, sadly, and I had an amazing time seeing both Squeeze and Psychedelic Furs. Now, here in the episode is what we do here is our 7 degrees of Depeche Mode. And 7 degrees of Depeche Mode is when we link the artists that we're reviewing with Depeche Mode in seven steps. We try to do it in 7 steps. And in this one, we don't have to go that far. We don't have to do that many steps, because as you devotees know, in Depeche Mode's latest album, their recent album, Memento Mori, Martin Gore got along with Mr. Richard Butler of Psychedelic Furs, and they decided to write music together. This is very unique because Martin Gore normally writes music on his own. He writes them throughout the years. Right, he writes music throughout the years, and then he will, if it fits the album, the theme of the album, then somehow the music will make it on that album. Because I suspect that there are a lot of, there may have been 1 or 2 songs that he's written years ago that he went and revisited, and it fits for this album that maybe didn't make it on another album. Sometimes that happens. You guys, you devotees, you tell me if that's the case or not. But he and Richard Butler got together. Now, the rumor is they got together during COVID. Richard called him up and said, hey man, let's go ahead, let's sit down and write. Martin Gore was like, nah man, I write my music by myself. And Richard was like, hey, let's go, we could do this together. And so Martin was like, all right, I'm bored, come on over, let's go ahead and do it. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. I think it happened that way. However, I think that they were planning to get together before COVID, and COVID just made it more of an opportunity for them to do it. And they sat down and they wrote this music together. Now, some of those songs are Carolyn's Monkey. One of my favorites is My Perfect Stranger, which sounds like, if you listen to it again, it sounds like it could be a Psychedelic Furs song. And of course, the single that was released first when the album came out is Ghost Again, right? Ghost Again, which also kind of sounds like it could be a Psychedelic Furs song. So there you have it. There are 7 degrees of Depeche Mode. You guys, thank you so much for coming along this journey with me and reviewing another live event. If you guys have any ideas of anybody that you would like for me to review, definitely go ahead and suggest that. And if you are looking for a similar review like this, go ahead and visit Danny Elfman, my review on Danny Elfman. That was a pretty cool live event for those of you who are Danny Elfman fans, who like Danny Elfman's music in films, right? Music in films. And definitely go ahead and check out that on my YouTube page, that Danny Elfman review. And again, I love bringing you these reviews. I absolutely have an amazing time going to these concerts, and I can't wait to bring more to you. It's so much information that I have to get out, and so I try to get it out in less than, really I try to get it out in 10 minutes. I can't do it. Try to get it in there in less than 20 minutes. So we'll see if I get a chance to do it. But for right now, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those kind of things. I will see you at the next review. God bless. Toodle pip.